None of us, no one, can be remotely satisfied with the situation in Syria. It's deeply disturbing. And we are all concerned about the levels of violence that broke out in recent days, challenging the cessation. Russia has worked closely with the United States to upgrade our ability, which now has a 24-hour basis in Geneva with high-level people working consistently. But even then, it's difficult. And in the end, in order to make all of this more than words on a page, some very clear and determined actions are going to be needed in order to implement the steps that we just set out today. And we talked considerably about how that can happen and perhaps even what kind of enforcement mechanisms could be developed in order to achieve this full ceasefire that we are seeking.
You had the combination of sanctions and sabotage.
О том, что сейчас является наиболее актуальным, потому что за всеми нашими усилиями стоит общая озабоченность нарастанием угрозы терроризма в этом регионе, в частности в Сирии. И здесь уже становится такой навязчивой проблема Джабхат ан-Нусры. Она мимикрирует, она вступает в какие-то ситуативные альянсы с различными группировками, которые вроде бы подписались под прекращением боевых действий, но когда им это удобно, они из этих договоренностей выходят на время, потом снова в них возвращаются. И мы рассчитываем, что те обязательства, которые Соединенные Штаты и другие страны взяли на себя, и которые касаются необходимости добиться, чтобы нормальная, так сказать, не экстремистская оппозиция отмежевалась от Джабхат ан-Нусры, в том числе географически, чтобы эти обязательства выполнялись. И чтобы те зарубежные страны, которые потихоньку продолжают покровительствовать Джабхат ан-Нусре, не имели предлога требовать прекратить бомбить ее позиции.
You probably will want to know where are we on the next interest. On the humanitarian, on the cessation hostility side, you heard it. The main real difference is that what we used to have at 80% has gone down to 50%. But we need to bring it back, and it's been a strong effort and a common line on that. And the main new element, apart from the willingness to address it, is the upgrading in Geneva of this operations center between Russian and American military and civilians. That's been extremely useful, and we will test it now. The second element is humanitarian aid. And on the humanitarian aid, we are still not reaching those we want to reach. You heard it. Out of 18 besieged locations, and by the way, besieged areas is the closest to a medieval type of siege that we've seen in recent history. Only, and perhaps not only, but 12 of them have been reached. So the concept and the idea have been approved that if we cannot reach them by land, as we have been doing together with the World Food Programme in Deir el-Zur successfully, having a joint operation between Russian Federation, US, and other countries in dropping aid to 110,000 people, we need to start working hard in order to be able to look at the option within security limits, but that's why we all have to work on, to actually do the same everywhere else where we cannot get by land unless we are allowed to go by land.
To convince the Iranians it was necessary to make a deal. In the Syrian case, however, as you've often heard,